Hey guys, and welcome to the final episode or round of the Club 100 Esports Championship. This is a single race in this episode at Le Mans, which was a postponed round due to connection issues. So this is the reverse grid from Sardinia, which was round 3. So the grid will be with me starting, I think, 4th from last. I think I finished 4th in the race. Yeah, so Steve, Luke and Nathan behind me, and you notice there Nathan in the 4C. So he's actually changed car, which means you get a 15-point deduction, which very risky considering he did have the title wrapped up until this point. So he's throwing it all on the line for, I'm not really sure why, but he's done that. So anyway, lights out, we're off. And of course with the Viper we get a nice start, although with every other driver in the Corvette it's not as nice as I'd like, but it is what it is. Anyway, into turn 1, just staying out of trouble as always, trying to look at every which angle to make sure I don't hit anyone or get punted, and we've got through alright, so can't be much happier than that. Up into 7th already, and you can see behind us it's all kicking off a little bit. Didn't mean to dive that deep there, but thankfully did not make contact with Trevor, so we're all good. I'm going to go to the inside now, try and take advantage of basically. Trev doesn't really give us any room there, despite us being up the inside, but fair, well, whatever he likes, I guess. And then you see there, Luke's got a penalty, which means, technically, it means he shouldn't be able to overtake me anymore. Because with this league, the rule is if you've got a penalty, you can't overtake the car in front, which would be an interesting point later on. But now we're getting back past Trev now after sort of getting cut off earlier, and they all brake very early behind us actually, and I brake perfectly reasonably, make up some more positions. So already up into 6th by the end of, I don't know how many sectors there are at Le Mans, is that the 2nd sector maybe, so really not bad for a first lap, and we can already start focusing in front of us. So with what's up for grabs, with Nathan changing car, Drivers' Championship is actually up for grabs. I do need to be very high up and he needs to be very low down. Oh, as we see Tim here go straight across, cut back to that in a minute, he goes straight across, completely messes up the second chicane, and Steve's going to try and take advantage of this, and we're going to go into this, I think it's the Mulsanne corner, potentially. And because we've got our teammate Cal in front, we're hoping to work together here, because we've also got the Teams Championship, which we can still technically win. So we're really going all out for this. So, and Steve's got past us there. Not too worried about that. I'm not really too worried at the moment, because the slipstream will keep us in anyway. But here's that replay of what happened just there. So Tim goes off, and look at this. The scenes as we go 4 wide almost, coming out of this corner. Luckily not. Well, apart from a bit of a hip check from Steve on Tim there, no contact really. But yeah, coming into Indianapolis I think this is, which then leads on to Arnage. And once again, I'm not really trying, I'm trying to be annoying maybe in some places, but other than that it's all good. So I'm just making Steve have to think about us, and Martin just leaves us braking a bit too late and nearly takes out my teammate. Thankfully he just missed. I think he just misjudged his braking point there, and you can see this from the back of my teammate's car as he comes flying past, takes to the grass, cuts across the other side, out the other end. Very unfortunate for Martin there, but he's lives to fight another day just about. Into the Porsche curves, and we see Jack in the gravel. So he and Kireth had got away at the start, and Jack had, well, he almost lasted a lap around here before making an unfortunate error. He wasn't enjoying Le Mans, but yeah, I don't think he enjoyed it at all now. So up into 4th, end of the first lap. Obviously it's a big old lap, so it's not quite relative, but, and Kireth there up front, we know what he's like now when he's up front. If we leave him to it, he will bugger off, so we have to catch him. And with me, Steve and Cal, me and Cal in the chat together, Steve on his own, there's also just to show that Nathan was in the Alpha rather than his traditional Corvette. In the wrong colours, I will add. Don't know if that's points deduction, but yeah, anyway. It should be an orange, not red, for Lego, but anyway. So, right up behind Steve again. Looking to work together really as a 3 here to try and catch Kireth. We are catching him anyway, I think, but it will accelerate the process if we can just all sort of push each other along a bit. So we're just trying to not cost each other time is the main thing. Naturally we're going to catch up because say the slipstream's going to bring us all closer together anyway. So Steve goes to the move of my teammate, and I'm going to follow Steve through here because it's the most efficient way of doing this, I think, because if I'd pushed Cal there, it would have meant Steve and Cal would be side by side, and then there's like a problem into the braking zone or something. It's just not worth it. Me and Steve both have a very interesting entry into that first corner there. First chicane, sorry. But we get through it. And yeah, we set our sights on Kireth, so we're going to slipstream again. Obviously these long straights can be quite dull at times, I admit. But it's definitely an interesting point because you've got all this time to think about what you're going to do. So Cal's giving me a nudge here, so I think, right, I'll take the move. That shouldn't cost us too much time. So I go past, just try and make sure I do this clean. I don't really want to hold the guys up. And just get a nice clean drive out the next turn. Obviously purple as it's lap number 2. And the lap 1 was a grid start, so it's obviously going to be a bit quicker. Steve's come back up the inside now, and this is basically the theme of Le Mans. Just a constant slipstream battle. I say it's me and Steve are never going to get separated in this race. It's the one-on-one you've all been waiting for. Even though we did sort of have a couple anyway, last season at least. But yeah, and in the chat at the moment I'm talking to Cal. We're both thinking about how we're going to catch up. Kireth's trying to put us off as well. It's all a bit of fun in the chat, to be fair. But yeah, we're just all trying to work together, just catch up to Kireth, then we can sort out our differences when we get there. But take it nice and easy. See, I've backed off, and this is where Cal nearly becomes one of the most hated men in Steve's future comment sections, as he almost takes him out, but not quite. You can see the two different sort of approaches there. I was well off the throttle well before that corner. I didn't push into that corner at all. Whereas Cal was still quite close to the back of Steve. He didn't really need to be, so it's just a bit of a risk, which say might be worth noting in future moments. Yeah, into the Porsche curves now. The Viper's actually handling quite nicely around here, despite being a bit of a boat. I don't know. Right up close to the walls, running the corner speed in. Okay, I know the Corvette handles pretty nicely, but yeah, the Viper was doing a good job. I was quite impressed. Very impressed actually. And then yeah, Cal gets a penalty here, and of course the penalty means that they can't overtake the car in front, which means that basically you're restricted in what you can do, especially at Le Mans. At times like this, it's not too much of a problem because we're all sort of in a group. We're all working together. You'll gain the time back up, sort of thing. But in other scenarios, it could be quite tricky to sort of manage the situation. You see, I've dropped a little bit off the back here, but by the time we get back round to the main straight, oh, as you see here, yeah, I slowed this down. That right there is a penalty. That tiny little corner cut. It must have been about, I don't know, an inch, maybe, not even that. And I've got a 0.5, so now I'm restricted in what I can do. So I'm sitting at the back of this pack. We've caught the slipstream now, and Steve's actually caught Kireth, I believe. Or is he? He might have caught Kireth. He's almost caught him. So you can see anyway, I've burnt off a little bit of penalty there going into the first chicane. Just say, taking my time. As long as I don't lose the slipstream, I'm pretty happy. So just getting off the power nice and early, dabbing the brake, and then you see here, off the power, dab the brake, watch the penalty come down, and then get back on the gas to join back the back of the queue. So we've served our penalty now. Cal's actually got 0.7 now, so he must have had an extra penalty. And we're going to speed this up now because it's just a big long slipstream train. that is a lap of Le Mans in about 8 seconds, so enjoy. And we have now caught Kireth. This is Steve going for a move on Kireth. He's also picked up a penalty, so Kireth and Cal both decide to serve it here. Not sure it was the best solution, but they did, and that releases me and Steve into the lead. And now the plan is to hopefully bring Cal with us. I don't want to lose Cal in this battle, because with Orange Team suffering, with AC Nathan still down 8th after 4 laps, it's clearly not going very well. And if you've spotted a blue triangle on the front straight, you may have noticed that's Mark, Nathan's teammate, who's pulled in. I'm not too sure why. But yeah, overtaking Steve now. This will be a theme of the next 16 laps, because, well, 16 minutes, sorry. Need add a Maryism there. As this is all you can really do while racing at Le Mans. It's just the way it is for now. As there's such big long straights, you can't get away. So we're just going to zoom forward here at lightning speed to get to the next bit of action, which is coming back onto the Mulsanne straight. Steve once again getting a nice run and putting up behind us, and at this point unfortunately Cal has made a bit of a mistake. As you can see, he's now dropped to 5th, which is not ideal at all. So now I can't really help him try and bridge the gap back, because I can't drop back and give him a tow or fight really, because we have Kireth and Batters also joining the fight, and that's not really what I want. I'd rather have at least Cal leading the charge rather than having to fend off another 2 extra opponents that could potentially beat us. So it's better this way. So anyway, skipping forward again, once again mirror signal manoeuvre, straight back through again on slipstream. And so obviously we won't be doing as many laps at the moment because the longer lap, so it's already not too long now before the end of the race, maybe 2-3 more laps at most. So starting to sort of figure out how we're going to resolve this situation, as I get massive oversteer there going into the Arnage. A very trait of the Viper, that manoeuvre there, locking the rears up and drifting around corners. It's very Viper. But yeah, Steve coming up the inside again, so he's definitely wanting to fight us a little bit, although a slipstreaming sort of war or battle does tend to help, because you gain every time you sort of slipstream past each other, so you are actually not losing too much time. But yeah, come through these last Porsche curves now, trying to just stay as close as we can to Steve, and just through here he just goes a tiny bit wide, and that gives him a penalty, which could be crucial, because of course this, with the rule, you can't pass with a penalty. It just means that now, in theory, his hands are tied, and in fact that he can only really just shove us, to be honest, once I get past, which I will look to do, because if someone's got a penalty in front, the best thing to do is to overtake them, because then you've got the sort of like the dominant position. As I get oh so close to him, I didn't actually touch him there. I know it looked like it did, but I did actually look at the replay and I didn't actually touch him. He just sort of lifted off the brake just as I got as close as I did, so it looked like we sort of nudged each other, but it wasn't the case. However, this one I definitely nudged him a tiny bit, because I misjudged my braking quite a lot there. But anyway, onto the Mulsanne straight. So with Steve with a penalty now, as he cuts that corner as well, but he doesn't get a penalty for it, which shows the issues with the track limits here at Le Mans. Very difficult to understand at the best of times. We're going to do a good old slipstream pass again. I know you love to see it. Proper skill this takes, you know, to get past someone on the straight. And yeah, we're going to slide straight past. Job done. Now we just hold the lead for the end of the race, and that's it. Job done. Never quite that simple, unfortunately. But we do try. We have to try. You can see purple first sector. You can see how the slipstream works for me there. I got a purple first sector, but a 53.0 from Batters is pretty tough to manage. You can see Steve's coming behind now, and I'm expecting him to just bump us here. But he doesn't. And he's definitely got a penalty. as he absolutely sends it into the second chicane sideways as well, so he's definitely trying. But yeah, it sort of confused me this, and I was flashing my lights, you can sort of see there, trying to say, you know, hang on mate, you shouldn't be passing me, not with a penalty. Not that in the grand scheme of things makes too much difference, because Steve's smart enough to be able to serve a penalty without losing the slipstream. So in theory he should just, you know, serve it and he'll stay in the tow and we'll just carry on fighting like we do. But it was an interesting moment. Clearly the rule there was slightly forgotten, but so it's not too crucial here. The same outcome of us being battling for the rest of the race was always going to happen anyway. But just interesting as he goes back past again. And so the main sort of strategy for me was I always wanted really to lead into the Porsche curves, because that's where the mistakes could happen, and if I want to make a mistake I want to be in front so that you can't pass me and get away. So if I could lead into the Porsche curves every time, I'd always try and do that. So coming out of here, we're pretty close, so I'm going to, hopefully he's going to just let me manoeuvre straight past, but it's not always that easy, not quite. So we're catching up to him now, drawing alongside, he's defending, so as you can tell it's not that easy. I still want to go for the move, but we're just not quite far enough ahead, and he sends it in there. Goes very wide as well as we cut to this TV camera. The car's looking awesome, especially the blue one with the yellow stripe. But yeah, flowing through these Porsche cars, really flying through here. Really nice fast corners, great fun. And just trying to keep all the pressure on Steve now, trying to make sure he doesn't. If I can push him into a mistake, great, but he ain't that easy to pressure into a mistake, unfortunately. Just sort of putting the car in his mirror there, not really actually going for a move, just sort of to say, I'm still here mate, you know. He does make a little mistake there actually, but I can't really do anything with it. Can't get the run and can't pull alongside quick enough. Anyway, jumping forward to the Mulsanne, and once again another slipstream manoeuvre, as Steve's going to try and get rid of a little bit more of his penalty, I think. But he's struggling, so he comes back past us again. And so this is just the theme of the next few laps, because there's not really much else to do, so it's something to pass the time really, to pass each other. But yeah, and once again, if you hadn't guessed, we're going to go past again. And I think at this point, if I remember rightly, he does back off early enough to get rid of the rest of his penalty. And yeah, you can see that he's backed off there, so if we look behind now, yeah, all gone. So now it's just a clean fight hopefully, and you can see 4 minutes remaining and we're not at the end of the lap, so we've only got one more lap after this one. So now we're really sort of figuring out how we're going to play this. Strangely enough, Steve's now bumping me now, he doesn't have a penalty, which is I just found quite amusing. Yeah, coming into Indianapolis now, really tricky corner, also because of track limits, actually probably mainly because of track limits. Because I had no idea where I was getting penalties there from, so I just took it really wide to make sure I didn't have a chance of getting any. Struggling to get it stopped actually into this Arnage corner, really not handling very well at all. Hopefully I can sort that out for the last lap, because it could be the crucial moment. But yeah, Steve's up to the inside again, so he's definitely wanting to lead, just sort of like I did really into the Porsche curves. I probably could have defended this just to sort of make my life a bit easier, but I was pretty comfy behind him and I wasn't feeling like I was making too many mistakes, so I was happy enough to sit behind him. You see here we're pretty confident just sitting in right behind him, nice distance apart, just following his lines, making sure we just don't get any penalties. It's just, that was such a focus of this race, is to try not to go anywhere near the white lines. You just couldn't afford it. It was absolutely ridiculous. As you can see there, Steve had a little bit of lag there, and you can see I jumped on the brakes there trying not to hit him, and then he just teleported off again. So, caught me off guard there, a bit of a scare tactic there. Maybe he had his lag switch going, trying to spook us out or something, because he's going for his first win of the Club 100 League. Amazingly, he hasn't picked up a win yet. Although I did deny him of one in Sardinia pretty badly, so maybe it's time for his return. But anyway, we're on to the last lap now. This will be the final lap. 1 minute 40 left. We're not going to make it round for another one unless we do whatever the next shade of purple is to get to there, because that is not possible. So, slipstream manoeuvre number 1. Nicely done. And here comes slipstream manoeuvre number 2. Fair play. Obviously there's not much to do, there's no point defending, we would pass each other anyway. So, just playing the game. On to the next street now, and you guessed it. What do you think's going to happen? No, you're wrong. Not slipstream manoeuvre number 3. Because I want to lead into Indianapolis now. Because that's where I'm targeting to be in front, so I can be in the prime position to hopefully lead through the Porsche curves and then hopefully win the race. So I pushed Steve here, maybe making it a bit too obvious that I was going to be slipstreaming past for this one. And then here the games start playing. So he here lifts off. You can see I sort of catch him too quickly, and I think to myself, no, I'm going to pass him, and then he's going to repass me back. But he just keeps me in just a position where I can't get the run on him properly, and the Corvette is quicker than the Viper in a straight line. So fair play to him, he's absolutely mugged me off there. We sort of banged wheels a little bit, I don't really know why, but we just did. And it, you know, probably looked pretty cool in the stream. But yeah, so he holds into Indianapolis, and I was sort of sitting there going, damn, because that was really where I wanted to be in front. So we've got to get X out of here, really crucial now. And we're just a little bit hot, and the back end's come round again, and we've not even got a good drive. Oh, it's all gone wrong, right at the end. We've been outplayed by Steve here, and now he's buggering off right at the end. So we're going to have to put all our cards in here, try and just be as close as we can to his bumper for that last sector, and hope that a mistake comes or something that we can just get into him. So we're arriving into the Porsche curves really hot, keeping the pace up, trying to nail all these corners, try and get as close to that bumper as we can so we can really put them under pressure. Running in hot into the last Porsche curve now, really trying to gain every ground we can, and we're getting really nice run out of the final corner. We're going to try and go to the left, but you just know that gap's not going to be there when we get there. We just shift gear, I think at the wrong time there. I lost loads of momentum. Think about diving onto the inside, not quite going to do it. Steve's really hot into there. Coming into here, Steve goes wide, and we're going to... No! Viper just says nope. And we drift almost into the back of him, but fair play to Steve there. Held onto that well. Absolutely mugged me off on the straight before. And yeah, and as you can see there, Nathan and Mark, Team Orange, both come in last and second to last. So by that result, and me and Cal getting a second and a fifth, we've actually taken the team's title, which was not expected before the start of this round, but until Nathan chose a 4C, we've now won it. So, well, what more can you want than that? So, blue team, CBR Sandell Racing, we have won the championship. And you'll be pleased to know I didn't quite win the driver's title though. Not quite. Yeah, so this is the results. You see, this was Sardinia, where the results came from the grid for the Le Mans race. And then yeah, you can see the championship now. By 1 point I missed out on that title. So if I'd beaten Steve there, or if I'd got... Well yeah, if I'd beaten Steve, because Nathan had more wins. So if I'd won against Steve, I would have taken the title. But yeah, that is it. Thanks for all the support recently. Up to 1,000 subscribers. This channel may be monetized by the time you see this. But yeah, it's been immense, and hopefully I can produce more content soon. Club 100 real life season starting soon, so look forward to that. See ya.